admit, I'm coming at this from a military brat perspective. I was a daughter of a Marine. I am the daughter of a Marine. And the way my experience on Capitol Hill, the Pentagon will put forward a budget saying, we need this, X, Y, and Z. And lawmakers in Congress will say, oh, no, you don't need just X, Y, and Z. You also need more planes. You need more boats. By the way, those are made in my district. We need a couple of more aircraft carriers. Those are made in his district, And so the Pentagon might put forward, what some people consider a nominally sane budget. But then once it gets through the washing machine of Congress, suddenly it looks like some sort of Frankenburger that, they put together, because it's not what the military requested. How much of the bid up in Congress by members of Congress who want to bring this money to their own district, how much of that is a problem in the defense budget? Is it a big problem or is it a little problem?
It's a little problem until recently. Until recently, the Congress tended to vary the. Let me come at it another way. When Congress looked at doing the things that you describe, and that's not a military brat perspective with Hill experience, it's just realistic. When Congress says, oh, we want some of X and some of Y and some of Z, and we don't like A, B, and C that were in the budget request, Congress actually alters about under 5% of any defense budget that's ever set up there. They really change very little. What they do find is ways to suck money out of certain parts of the defense budget and spend it on other parts of the defense budget that satisfy them. Now, that's been true pretty much consistently since Graham Redmond Hollins in 1985. What changed, of course, is the Budget Control Act constraints fell away, right? And what we have seen, there's two big things that happened. One, Congress is not responsible for, it's called the invasions of Iraq and Afghanistan. And they created a whole separate budget to fund those things called the Overseas Contingencies Operations Account, right? And dumped a bunch of money in there that was emergency, so it didn't count against all the constraints on spending. It was great, free money, as it were. So that was one of the big changes. The other was those budgetary constraints came off, and the bidding war now that happens in the Congress. Well, let me just cite you an example, a little more numerology, if you'll forgive me. Baseline, okay? If the defense budget as proposed for 2024, right? If that budget, if you look back, is $842 billion, what would it have been in the two previous budget requests? Or, what did it look like? In other words, what was the 2024 number projected in those two earlier budgets, and how different is what Congress did to it? And the answer is $95 billion different. That's huge. That's quite unprecedented.
That's
24 in the budget request sent up in 2022, it was supposed to be $747 billion by 2024. It's 842, so we're $95 billion higher than people thought it would be 2 years ago. It's just gone up, and that's the Congress. I mean, last year was $43 billion worth of congressional add to the defense budget. That is really unprecedented since 1981. That's when Reagan did 52.